Have you ever wondered why you lose cell phone reception in counties south of us? Did you know that it was due to a lack of towers in those counties for the cell phone reception loss? The E911 Service Fund would help not only the emergency responders respond to emergency cases more efficiently and quicker, but it will also help improve cell phone coverage by the addition of new towers with the funds appropriated by the E911 Service Fund. There are many different aspects of House Bill 2738, and today I will go over with you some of the main topics of them. I will go over the new features that some of the rural communities have started going into. I will also tell you about the features already implemented in some of the rural counties that we have in this state. And I will also tell you why some people consider the E911 Service Fund a drawback instead of a way of improving emergency responders' times and to better cell phone coverage in this state. Dylan Goforth, staff writer for the Muskogee Phoenix, wrote in his 2012 article, Last Bids Being Taken for the E911 Tower, that the tower would allow Wagner County E911 to begin the transition from the 150 megahertz system to the 800 megahertz system. With that happening, that would allow them to move their radio frequencies from a smaller database to a bigger database, allowing them to hear others clearly when they're speaking on the radio to other cops and dispatchers, and also to improve the quality of cell phone coverage in that area as well. Goforth then quoted Wagner County's E911 coordinator, Judy Elliott, stating that the tower in Wagner County would be built in the Yonkers area, in a place that already had bad cell phone reception, and that the tower would let companies rent out spaces on it in order to help pay for the tower and improve coverage in that area. More megahertz, of course, equals better coverage wherever you are and a less static noise that you hear on any kind of CV or radio control system that you may be using to talk back and forth for public officials. Another reason for the problems that people are facing is because cell phones are used now more instead of landlines. Susan Campbell, TMC Net contributing editor, wrote in her 2012 article, With the Evolution of E911 Hosted Solutions, Lives Are Saved, that what was once a call sent from a landline to another in another location, technology put that, from companies called from a landline to another in an answering center, enabled accuracy and call location technology that put emergency workers in the precise area of where the call was made. Basically saying, landline to landline, you have a better chance of knowing and pinpointing exact locations rather than from cell phone to landline when cell phones are from all different area locations from the state. The new towers, of course, would help faster response times, as well as that they would also improve the quality of sound heard by the other walkie-talkies or radios, etc., used by the people in the emergency systems. Now that I've told you some about what of the new features are going to be added into the E911 Service Fund for the rural communities, I'm going to transfer what our counties have already implemented some of the 911 Service Fund features. James Neal, staff writer for the Enid News and Eagle, stated in his 2012 article published in the Enid News, Upgrading to E911, Confusion Strikes 911, Addressing Major County. He said that Major County and 21 others are still operating on the basic 911, in which an emergency call is routed to a 911 dispatcher, but information on the caller's location and telephone number have to be verified by the caller by voice when they call in, compared to the enhanced 911 system on which you just call in from anywhere and they automatically know from what you are. That's what the E911 enhanced one offers. The 21 counties that Neil was referring to are all these counties in red. As you can see, major county is right here, and Alfalfa, Blaine, and Dewey, and all the cotton counties and all that. It even goes into the counties that are red and striped as well, not just the counties majorly red. Those are all the 21 counties that he's talking about, and those are the most rural that we have in this state. Neil went on to say that counties continually have been working to implement the E911 capability, with its implementation ranging from the basic 911 service only to the full E911 service with the enhanced phone locating ability for cell phones, which are like the counties in green already have that system in place. The different layouts of why the rural communities are so spread out is because their towns are a lot farther apart compared to our bigger cities, like our bigger counties like Canadian and Oklahoma, where our towns are a lot closer together. On average, it takes 3 to 7 minutes in your city and bigger community areas for emergency responders to get to you after the initial call. In rural communities, it takes almost 20 to 45 minutes in order for an emergency responder to respond to initial call. Now that I've told you what counties have implemented some of the new features, I will begin telling you why some people see them as a drawback instead of improving emergencies centers all over the state. John Wiley, the editor, John Wiley II, the editor of the Oologah Lake Leader, wrote his article, Fire Departments Quit E911 Board. He quoted Bob Anderson, the volunteer tri-district chief, that the board was not operating in a way it should be, and that the 800 megahertz system was more than they could deal with their current radios. What he failed to realize is that the service fund actually does proportion money to them in order to upgrade their radios and towers and things like that. Melissa Amadio's 2012 article, The Drawbacks of the E911 Contracts, she stated that unfortunately customers can't really rely on just the saying yes of has my service been upgraded, am I covered, or things like that, mainly due because the providers may not know all the correct answers of what they're asking. I know that USPS, if you have to change your service address, they do send out letters informing you of it and letting you know. In conclusion, today I've told you what the E911 covers, the ways that the rural communities are implementing their new features, also the different features that many of the counties have already addressed and started going forth on, and that's why people see it as a drawback. But my main thing is I hope you take away that you actually support this bill and get it moving because it will help our great state.